Alright, so this is going to be my first time doing this, so you'll have to bear with me here, but this is Hyaku Shiki 96, your favourite billionaire philanthropist, and today we're going to go on a game hunt for a Grail at CEX I've been wanting for a very long time. So those of you who know this channel will know I'm an avid PlayStation 1 collector, and in fact it is my first ever console. And so this is one game that I've wanted for a very long time. And let me tell you, it's expensive. I've saved up a long time to be able to get the money for this game, and it's actually in the local area, at least within an hour from where I live. So I'm going to go on the hunt today towards a couple of different CEXs and an independent game store, see what we can find, and of course, pick up that Grail. Let's go. So, first up we have CEX Ashton Underline. Now this was one I was quite excited for. There's been a game I've wanted for a very long time, Armored Core 5. Now Armored Core 5, let me tell you, is a game that has a bit of a divisive response from the fanbase. However, after looking into it, I decided I wanted to give it a shot. Especially for £30, I think it's a good price. However, there's only two in the CEX ecosystem, and the one there, which is the only one near me, happened to be a cover reprint. Now it happens, I get it, and I understand. However, it's still a bit disappointing to travel somewhere for a specific game there. However, that was not the Grail we were after today. So at least the good thing is, so far it hasn't been a complete disaster, but it hasn't gone quite to plan. However, I did manage to find some items that I wasn't looking for specifically, but that I wanted and had on the list quite high up, so that was good overall. Let's take a look at the pickups. First up, we have Blu-ray Season 1 of The Witch from Mercury. Now, this only came as a steelbook form, and I'll tell you, I really do like the Gundam anime series. That's no secret if you've been following this channel, but let me tell you something. I do think that they look absolutely fantastic. The first season's kind of chronically out of stock, brand new at the moment, and so to be able to get one in such good condition, and I mean pristine condition, pretty much like brand new, was exciting, and I'm definitely quite grateful for that opportunity. So that was a great haul already there. Now next up we have this slipcase for Final Fantasy XIII Part 2. Now, let me tell you, I already own the game, but what I didn't already own was actually a slipcase for it. It's one of those ones that I'd seen online before and it looked really cool, and I felt kind of like it was a shame. But one of my top tips in CEX is if you don't have a manual and it is not attached to the price point, if you don't have a slipcover and it's not attached to that price point, always ask. It never hurts. As long as you ask politely and you're okay with whatever the staff decide, that's fine. And in this case, they let me have the slipcover, so that's great, and now I have an even better complete version of the game I already owned. Now, sticking with the formula here, we've got Final Fantasy XIII Lightning Returns. Now let me tell you, this game has been on my list for years. So I played Final Fantasy XIII back in the day, and I did actually like it. I'm not a Final Fantasy veteran by any means, so I can never verify the claims of how good it is compared to most of the series. I've played some of the other ones, but I really liked it, and I even liked Final Fantasy XIII too, but I never played this game back in the day. And let me tell you, I've been very excited. My biggest mistake has been taking this long, because when I wanted to buy it, it was like a £10 game, now it's a £25 game. I still don't think it's that bad, given the price point, and of course the fact that it has a relatively low print volume. I do know there's a steelbook that's quite valuable for this, but I'm quite happy with the regular edition, especially since I have the other regular editions. But overall, it's one that I've been looking to pick up for a long time, so it was definitely a win for me. Not what I came planning for, but that's one of the interesting things you find when you do hunt at CEXs. You're not going to get exactly what you look for all the time, but there's always something, and that's why I kind of like going on the hunts. You're never going to be really 100% disappointed, or at least I haven't been so far. Don't want to speak too early on yet anyway. So, next up on the hunt was of course Rewind Collectibles, as you can see. Now I didn't get any footage inside the shop, unfortunately. It was quite jam-packed and there were a lot of people in, and I just kind of felt that it would be a bit rude to ask to film and it would inconvenience everybody there. It was a lively shop, it quite clearly had a big customer base. The owner or the staff members on there were talking to a lot of people at the time. They had a really good efficient use of space. I was quite impressed considering the size of the shop. I mean, I'm used to perhaps some of the more bigger independent game shops like Vintage Gamer or Doorway to Darkness. So I'm used to a bigger space, but considering they had such a small space, they really packed it quite well. So that was definitely quite commendable. In terms of the items there, unfortunately wasn't anything that I wanted to come away with this time. There were a couple of items that I was interested in, but they weren't quite at the condition and price point that I want. And so it's not a knock on the shop at all. I think that it's quite a good shop, and if you're in the local area, please check it out. Especially if you're into board games, collectibles and things like that, as well as video games, it's definitely a worthwhile trip in that case. I'd definitely say for me, it was a cool stop, and of course I always love seeing what the independent stores can offer, and I'm very grateful that they're around. So whilst I didn't pick up anything this time, maybe in the future if I'm near the area I might come back with something else. Who knows? And here we are in the CEX that we've been looking for the whole time, CEX Stockport. Now let me tell you, this is where the game that I was looking for was in stock. However, disaster struck. I mean, disaster struck big time, unfortunately. This is one of the risks that you do take. So I've been planning this trip for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. And what I found is when I actually got there and I looked in that case, the game I was looking for wasn't there. Now let me tell you the game I was looking for. It's called Azure Dreams for the PlayStation 1. Now it's actually a pioneer in the rogue genre. It's not the original, but it's one of the earliest of that type. If you'd have watched some of my previous videos, you know I'm quite a fan of roguelites, Hades, and even Rogue Legacy, other kinds of games like that. I've always been kind of like a good pick up and play experience for me that I've really enjoyed. So I thought, you know what? This is a game that's climbing up in value. It's £105. There were 2 in CEX. Only one was there. There was no without manual, just with manual. On eBay, it's selling for about £200, so double. It kind of felt like, you know what, if I'm really interested in this game, this was my only shot at getting it at a reasonable price. And yeah, I checked before I left. I checked the tracker, it was there, but it didn't make it in the time of this trip. And I wasn't that late on, so it's just an unfortunate one for me. I think that's one of the things, I mean, whoever bought it, good for you, you've done well. It looks like a fantastic game, and I hope you enjoy and you manage to play it. This doesn't mean I've given up. I'm going to still keep trying. I would prefer to pick this game up in person though, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. Never say never. You don't know how it's going to end. But I suppose that's part of what these trips can entail. You can go with a plan and it can completely change by the time you actually get there and see what's there. I even had another game I earmarked just in case, Kudelka, and that one's supposed to be kind of like a cult classic horror Welsh inspired RPG game, and I thought, oh, that looks cool. And that's all too. So thankfully though, one of the things that I did do before I went is I did research some of the games that were there. And this is what I recommend, because everyone is available to buy any of these games, and you know, whoever buys it, it's their right to do that. You have to be prepared if you're traveling for a CEX and you're not doing click and collect, that you actually have some backup options there that make it worth your while. So just like how, for example, when I went to the first CEX store, I didn't intend on getting those games then and that Blu-ray then. However, I did earmark them in case things didn't go to plan. And so it's kind of like that. I did have some other options, and let me show you what I managed to pick up there, because I managed to actually get some really good pickups. And there was even one game that actually is quite incredibly rare that actually had been traded in that day, complete, in good condition. So first up we have Resonance of Fate on the PlayStation 3. Now this is an RPG that I've seen on several different channels, and I've actually seen it in CEX a few times before, and it always interested me. So upon doing some research on the game, I found that it looked pretty cool. And the gunplay, kind of semi-turn-based combat, I don't know the right way to describe it, is pretty cool. So I've started this game already, and let me tell you that I am quite a big fan of it so far. It's a little bit of a slow burn in terms of the story, and acclimating it's very complicated, as a lot of those RPGs from that time period are. However, I think there's quite a lot of charm there, so this is one that I'm excited to pick up, and of course in complete condition as well. That's fantastic. I cannot complain about that. I'm going to save the surprise pickup to last, but I will show you this game next, Half Minute Hero. So this is probably the third priority I had. This is a game that I've seen online for the PSP, and it looks really cool. The concept of only having 30 seconds to complete the game and being able to work around and kind of solve the puzzles is really cool. And I mean, there's several different kinds of scenarios with different kinds of characters and vibes to them, so it's quite cool from my perspective at least. And so for £28, you can't really argue with that deal. I mean, the PlayStation Portable is a fantastic system to collect for, and I do intend to talk a little bit about my collection at some point, because it is quite a cool collection. If you've seen my room tour, you'd know, small but mighty. But I will say that I am excited to pick this one up and add it to the collection and have a go. I really love the novelty factor games that came with the PSP. There's a lot of creativity in some of these titles, and a Half Minute Hero definitely does that for me. So, last but not least, let me show you the star pickup of today. Now, this came in at just £18, which I think is at a fantastic price, and that's Valkyria Chronicles 2. Now, Valkyria Chronicles 2 is a sequel to the critically acclaimed game on the PlayStation 3, Valkyria Chronicles. So for those of you who will know, it is a turn-based, watercolour kind of aesthetic anime style RPG where you do kind of like gunplay and stuff, and it's kind of like that sort of like late industrial World War One-ish, esque maybe, based kind of style, and it has truly a fantastic narrative story. We did not get the third one released, but we got 1, 2, 4 and a spin-off, Valkyria Revolution. So number 2 is kind of a really difficult one to find. In the 2 years that I've been trying to get this game, I saw it once. So when I saw it for the first time, I decided maybe I won't get it right away, and I regret that. Let me tell you, I haven't seen it since. But I am kind of glad how this worked out, because this copy is in much better condition than that other one was. So it always shows. Sometimes when you're not happy, wait. You might regret it at first because of the scarcity of the item, but eventually you will get a hold of it in good condition. And so I'm super happy about that, honestly. So today's been quite an interesting haul. I'm really happy with what I got, and I've got some really fantastic additions to the collection that I'm so excited to play and use. Having a collection like mine with more than enough titles means that I really have to carefully pick and choose what I want to get and what I want to play. And all of these titles are games that I've kind of been wanting for a long time, and so being able to finally add them to the collection feels quite exciting. And I'm really excited to kind of see if my expectations and hopes manage that when I do get round to them in the somewhat near future. I will say this as well, I think this has been an interesting hunt for many reasons, and it shows that sometimes things just don't go to plan, and that's okay. I mean, part of the charm of hunting for video games is how the journey unfolds, and for me it was a very enjoyable experience despite things not going to plan. I was initially a little bit upset, of course, when I didn't get Azure Dreams, because I really was hyping that up, as you could see in the beginning of the video, but it turned out quite well. And in the end of the day, I think we got a really fantastic haul that I couldn't be more happy with. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog, having a look around at the CEX, seeing all these different kinds of games. It's a different kind of video for me from what I'm used to, but I actually really enjoyed making it, surprisingly. So if you'd like to see more like this, please like and subscribe, and of course let me know, because I do go on game hunts somewhat regularly, like maybe once every 2 months, once every 1 month, it depends. I do like to do it every now and then. It's cool to get out and travel the country and stuff. So if you'd like to see more, please let me know, and then I can actually like record and do this more often. I tell you what though, it's quite funny. It feels really awkward filming in public. I don't know how the other guys do it, but let me tell you, when I saw people watching me film the shelves and I was doing it quite discreetly, yeah, definitely felt a little bit embarrassed, but I hope that it was worth it. I hope you enjoy this content, and of course, I am a billionaire philanthropist, so I have billionaire philanthropist related things to do, which does not include tax avoidance. I do not perform tax avoidance, and I've never been committed for tax avoidance. You were supposed to laugh at that joke. Okay, well, maybe I'll get it right one day. Well, regardless, of course, I'll catch you on the next one.